insert drink, and hit play. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now joining an episode of A Shot Of, and we are doing a shot of Joker.
Hello, everybody. You have the Right Honorable Javier Ian Marcellus Ignatius II Esquire here, along with John Daniels.
Yes, and for those of you have been tuning in, we normally have Johnny Walker. However, due to the fact that he has yet to see the movie, he has chosen to take a sidebar seat. He won't be joining our discussion tonight, but I'm sure at some point we will be doing a review, at least a quick little review of the movie while it's still in the movies.
Certain to revisit this at some point.
Yes.
Probably sooner rather than later.
Right. So we just wanted to get something out there, guys, as far as opinion. Javier and I went to go see it opening weekend. And for me, just to let everyone know, I thought it was freaking amazing. And there are points on why it was. But we're going to just try and give you a quick 10-minute segment of what we feel, why. And me personally, I want to kind of talk about the ongoing controversy behind the movie, what people are saying, what different groups are saying about the film, etc. Javier?
Well, I try to steer away from controversy. I just will say that as a movie, I enjoyed it. Is Warner Brothers taking a risk with DC Universe characters and actually, frankly, knocking it out of the park in terms of achieving their artistic goals of trying to depict a very complex and I guess you could even say tortured persona. I thought that was just an amazing character study.
Right. And that was part of that was actually, back to my point, that was actually part of the controversy. So the whole theme of inciting violence and the film, although critically acclaimed and just well received by millions, right? I think opening weekend, it broke Venom's record of highest revenue during an October month. And I believe it exceeded 90 million opening weekend in the month of October for the movie Joker. Production budget, I believe, was around 50 million. So, I mean, basically just amazing.
Automatic success.
Yeah, automatic success financially, well received by audiences. Pretty much, I think, kind of now at this point, essentially world-renowned. I mean,
piece of pop culture now.
Really, yeah, really.
Instantly cemented to pop culture.
Right. Joaquin Phoenix has been interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, etc. I mean, he's been all over. He's had interviews. Todd Phillips, the director for the film, has had interviews from, I think he's had interview with Variety, all over. Like anyone that's anybody, right? Any media that has a segment on films, they are trying to touch these two people, whether written, verbally, electronically, whatever. You know what I mean?
And we're right along, riding on the coattails.
Yes, we are right there, guys. So, okay, let me get back to one of my points here, though. Inciting violence. So, as most of you know, unfortunately, there was a very tragic incident during The Dark Knight, which was another well-received and highly notable Joker movie with Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, director Christopher Nolan. What happened was in Aurora, Colorado, back in 2012, some shitbrain decided to go into a movie theater, leave the exit, come back in through that exit, and unfortunately, he killed 12 people, injured 70. Now, this idiot, right? He decided to dye his hair red, and he went to go in this movie. It has nothing to do with the fact that he wanted to be Joker, okay? He dyed his hair red because like his buddy dyed his hair blue or something stupid, right? Now I think it was a miscommunication. I think maybe even one of the local police people had somehow linked this Joker image to this one dude, when in reality, I don't think it had anything to do with it. Again, he just happened to walk into a movie that had this Heath Ledger playing Joker that was phenomenally successful. And now everyone says, oh, yeah, he's the Joker, man. Yeah. The movie just caused him to kill, 12 people. I mean, that's total bullshit. Like I said, I feel it was a tragedy what happened. But it has nothing to do with what happened, is what my point is.
Nothing to do with what happened. But I think it's just the point that causally, it's easy for people to make that association because, for one thing, the Joker character as depicted on screen has usually been depicted as an agent of chaos, often a killer. Causes trouble wherever he goes. So if someone happens to cause trouble at a movie featuring the Joker, people are going to make that link consciously or unconsciously. It's just kind of in their heads, even if it may or may not have anything to do with it. I think that's part of the controversy that surrounds many of these movies. Oh, something's on screen. Oh, something else happened. Is A linked to B? I don't know. People seem to think The Godfather maybe had an influence on gang violence and mafia activities.
Wasn't Al Capone around in the 30s before Godfather was even conceived?
Well, there's a whole spate of gangster movies in the 30s, part of what caused the Hays Code to go in. So people have been dealing with this thought process for decades now. For example, the Hays Code was the Hays Code was devised in order to kind of, because people saw movies as glorifying gangsters back in the day. One of the provisions of the Hays Code was that you could not accurately depict or realistically depict a crime in action, as it might encourage people to copy it.
Okay.
And this is back in early 30s.
I get it. I mean, I see the point, right? But what I don't see is, I don't see how. So going forward, and I'm going to just completely switch gears. Forget the Aurora, Colorado tragedy. Let's talk about school shootings. What about, wasn't there a Denzel Washington movie where he's an FBI agent and there was a terrorist inside of a classroom holding kids hostage? I mean, so like, are we never going to show a movie that has some type of threatening scene, whether it's fictional, Joker, or non-fictional?
More directly related to school shootings, the infamous Columbine Matrix connection, where someone seemed to think that the Matrix had something to do with inspiring the Columbine shooting.
Because of the black trench coat?
Yep. People like to copy movie looks. That's nothing new. Because
some idiots decided to buy a similar looking piece of fabric and go and perform a terrible tragedy.
Yep.
Okay. Back to my point. What does one have to do with the other? Now,
they happen to look similar, and that's enough for a lot of people.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, they need to grow some brains, because what's going on now, even Warner Brothers had to go pretty much, and proactively, they said, okay, this is going to be a sensitive issue, which obviously it is for a lot of people. Anyone that had to endure the tragedy over there in that part of the country, yeah, it is horrible. It's horrible, right? So Warner Brothers went on the forefront. They issued kind of a statement / disclaimer where they were like, we do not promote this. We do not, we don't encourage this. This is merely a story of, again, a fictional character. Okay.
If you recall, at the movie theater when we went to go see it, there were signs taped up in the lobby saying you cannot wear face paint or masks or anything that might be considered an intimidating display.
Right. Now, okay.
Trying to forestall this.
No. I do remember. I do. And I do. And they're in Colorado, even they had amped up security, for rightly so. I'm not questioning that. I mean, there's a bunch of freaks out there, a bunch of psychos that are just going to do stuff in general, movie or no movie, I think, right? It doesn't matter. Like, if we're going to go do something bad, you're going to go do something. You're not going to wait for a movie to then correlate what you may or may not do and try and get society to understand or kind of link back. Oh yeah, maybe this guy.
People do. I mean, people argue that part of the reason school shootings are more prevalent now is because their names get plastered over the news and sickos want to be famous.
Being promoted and being glamorized and being up there.
Associate yourself with a movie.
No, I know.
Automatically, people have some kind of idea of what you are.
There was a shooting at the mosque. Gosh, I can't remember the name, but I think it was a New Zealand shooting where the guy posted his thing on like Facebook Live or whatever. Right? It was like basically a live stream of what he shot up. I don't know how many. I think it was like close to 50 Muslims in a mosque.
New Zealand had to take the step of banning it.
What, banning the video?
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that would have received a huge backlash. So now I got to go into my next tier of ranting. Okay. Oh, this fictional character, this Joker, right, who's causing mass murders, right? Because that's what this one dude in Aurora, Colorado did. He was a mass murder. 12 killed, 70 wounded, okay? Now, I'm trying to remember at what point in this movie or in Dark Knight, well, I guess Dark Knight when he blows up the hospital, but at what point in this movie does Joaquin Phoenix go on a mass murder rampage with any gun? Where's the mass murder?
Does 3 qualify as a mass murder?
No. Well, I'm sorry. I guess it could, but
definitely multiple murders.
Okay, wait. Are you? In one sitting? Well, that was all self-defense in the movie.
Well, trying not to get into spoiler territory here.
Right. Okay, so just going back and forth.
Multiple people get shot. No surprise in the Joker movie, eh?
Right. So again, like,
I mean, that's part of the issue is the way people present it. I'm not arguing for or against it, but the way it's presented in the argument wise is, by portraying this violence, you quote unquote normalize it so people become more accustomed to it. But again, that's for people who apparently can't tell the difference between fact and fiction.
Okay. And again, that's the whole thing. Fiction, right? This guy's a made-up character. He's a cartoon. What's that? Oh, you need money? Hold on. We're being interrupted by our pizza break. 36. Shit, where's my wallet? Uh-oh, guys. Okay, we might have to... Hold on. One
just keep going. We can edit this out, right?
Yeah, we can edit this. Hold on. But just keep it in for fun. How much is it? 36? 40... 3. You just give him 43. Okay, guys. Back to the topic at hand. Okay, the next tier, the next thing.
Well, just going back to mass murders. If I recall, in the 1989 Batman, the Joker does actually successfully poison many people with cosmetics. Yeah.
1989. Yes, he does distribute some kind of cosmetic thing, which causes a news anchor to laugh hysterically, uncontrollably.
Right.
And also
I don't know
others.
if it's frankly stated in the movie or implied, but it is multiple deaths.
Okay.
It actually panics the city of Gotham.
Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, so there is correlation for one fictional character performing a mass murder. The next thing that I guess was the huge backlash was people are offended at, you're putting someone with a mental illness on film and you're glorifying it. You know what? I think that's great. I think this brings awareness to... Wasn't there Mental Health Day like earlier this week or some crap? There was something, right? There was some... I don't know. But guess what? Now people are talking about mental illness, mental awareness, or whatever you call it. This movie is doing so much better than bad for, I think, a lot of people. It's bringing up good discussion points. It's bringing up topics that people want to be addressed, and at the same time maybe are ashamed to be addressed.
Without getting too spoiler, I guess you can say that cutting the funding for mental health services is one of the plot points of the film.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. Yeah, but it's a subplot. It's a theme. It's a point of issue, a point of contention. And you can even argue that today. I mean, you can look at government programs. You can look at Medicaid. You can look at Medicaid cuts across various states. Whatever you want to do. But guess what? People are talking about it. And I think that's better than just, let's not create a movie with a fictional character that may have a theme that might offend somebody. Seriously.
Yeah. If that were the case, many things wouldn't get made.
That's my point. Yeah. We're never gonna make a movie with a scene that has a gun in it. I mean, give me a break, right? If you're gonna do something, you're gonna do something. You're not gonna wait for let me wait for the next Iron Man movie. I'm gonna create an iron body suit and just go, blow some, make a nail bomb, right? Are we never gonna make like a scary movie again, or a zombie movie, or whatever movie? I don't know. It's just my right. I think this movie is great. I think it's actually bringing up valid discussion points. I mean, and I'm just on a basic scale. I just saw it last week. Came out last weekend. I would give it a 9 out of 10, honestly. And I don't even know the movie like that. I haven't studied it. I haven't done any really research on it. Just at first glance, instant 9 out of 10. And it could even go up to 9. It could even go up to 10 out of 10 once I get my hands on the 4K disc. I don't know, Jay. What do you think?
Yeah, my immediate response was positive, just because, as I said, artistically it was risky, and I think that's a good thing because, I mean, a lot of times it's easy to just make the same movie over and over again. No one really cares. The fact that this is actually trying to do something different, even at the expense of possibly courting controversy or maybe saying things that people are not necessarily comfortable with, is a sign of artistic integrity on the part of the studio, which I'm surprised to ever hear myself uttering that phrase.
Wait, can you what? Can you repeat that? What did you just say?
The fact that they're actually willing to take on this subject matter and portray it in the manner they did is a sign of possible, I guess, artistic courage and attempting to study a character.
Dude, Warner Brothers did great, man.
Walk down the road of what makes this character be this way or cause these things to happen. It's a possible why. Maybe not the only answer or the definitive answer, but it is attempting to tell a story and doing so, and in doing so handles it, I think, actually with a great deal of care and a very light touch compared to, it could have been a very heavy-handed, very pound you over the head with this message movie, but in fact it's actually It's the story of a person who goes on to do terrible things, but it tells you kind of why he did those things.
As far as and we're coming up on the 15-minute mark, guys. We're trying to make this as short as possible. I know it feels like 3 because I can talk for another 40 minutes on this
ranting.
easily. But again, this segment is a shot, not a pint, right? No. A shot of Joker. So,
not a pint, not a yard.
If you had to rate it preliminarily, at least on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a favorable rating. I can't really say until I've actually...
Can't zero in on it yet?
Not yet. I have to watch it at least 2 or 3 times.
Do you want to go later this weekend? Watch it again in the movies?
That is a thought, yeah. It does need to be... I do need to do so, but I would think I would also wait a little while. Catch it again on weekend 3. Crowds have died down slightly, and I get a little more time to...
a little more time to digest and
think about it.
Yeah.
Process it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm with you. I can't remember the last time I was so eager to see a movie again in the movies. I actually specifically avoid the movies because it's a pain in the ass. But this one, I mean, it's worth it. I think it's
definitely worth a repeat viewing.
Yeah. And like I said, guys, just to find my final thought. John Daniels here. Again, everyone. John Daniels. My final thought. Yes. What's going on in today's world, like mass shootings, etc. Terrible. But I think there is a fine line between linking a fictional character to what some psychopath would already be doing anyway. It just so happened that he happened to walk into a goddamn Dark Knight film when he could have walked into, I don't know, whatever other film was going on at that point in time.
If it's not this movie, it'll be the next one.
Right. It could have been a drama. Then we're not going to stop making dramas. But that's my take, guys. Again, John Daniels, Javier, any final thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
Why so serious?
Genius. Okay, guys, thanks so much. And tune in for our next episode of A Shot of Modern Day Controversies and or fan favorites. And by fan favorites, I mean me, Javier, and Johnny Walker. All right, guys, take it easy.